Firstly, thank you so much for having us today. Honestly, I'm sitting with two marvelous creators, and believe you me, none of us thought of being here intentionally. I'll start with my journey. Honestly, for me, content creation happened much by accident. It was never intentional. For me, my career was a bit of a chicken and egg situation. I do not know what came first, the artist or the lawyer. I did train to be a lawyer, and I practiced law. Amongst other clients, Facebook's used to be my counsel. I was a counsel for Facebook. And if you rewind my journey by about 30 years, I think I was always an artist. I have created since as long as I could remember. And all of us are born artists. Some of us just stick to our guns. And if you, again, forward my journey now, I'm doing the same things at a much bigger scale. And I have moved with the times. So yes, and when I was Facebook's counsel, I was a lawyer by the day, an artist by the night, and much to everybody's disbelief, I started sharing because I was not intimidated by the platform. It was one free platform available to everybody. While we were removing the legal hurdles for Facebook and Instagram to do business in India, I also started toying with the platform, started sharing my artworks to share with a wider audience. And what started like an organic journey started giving a lot of results. People started resonating with my visual vocabulary and the narratives I would create. People started responding to it, and I'm sure that happened with you guys as well. It was not really a career we ever thought of. And before I knew, not just the audience, but brands, curators, event organizers started watching me as a talent, as someone who would marry my own artistic voice with their brand vision. And we started resonating with each other, and I started bringing my authentic self and marrying it with the ethos of the brand. And slowly but surely, this became bigger than I had ever imagined. And that is the power of social media. So today, I do believe each one of us in our own right have built communities where people trust us, because we have not sold our soul to the algorithm, but we have stuck to our own guns. We have ensured that we have stayed authentic. Instead of changing and altering our journey to fit a brand because we're getting paid for the product, we have ensured that we collaborate with brands that actually resonate with us and seeing how their vision assimilates with our journey. And that's when we know the audience that connects with us has trust that we're not selling our souls to the algorithm or doing this for money, but this is something that we are researching for your own good. You could trust us because of the brands that we engage with. For me, it went a little further than this because I think everyone is a sum of their experiences. And I think in my case, luckily, the output became slightly better than the sum of its parts. So my legal education also helped me understand the brand's model, not just getting together the audience and the consumers and aligning them with the brand's vision. I started consulting with brands because I understood their business model very well. And I also took it upon myself to start navigating their journeys, to not simply get lost in the sea of information out there because there's so much content, but streamline their approach to human perspective where they will actually translate their business and see genuine growth. So yes, today, from a lawyer to an artist, content creator, I'm also a brand consultant, I'm a talent, and it's only thanks to social media I get to wear all these multiple hats, and I hope I get to learn more and more as the journey goes along. I would pass the baton to Arushi, and Arushi, why don't you tell us about how you started your journey in the world of content creation?
So I started doing content in 2021, I suppose. I'm a baker. I'm a trained pastry chef. I'm trained in French pastry. Since Bahaar also talked about moving from one profession to another, I'm also a literature student. And then I moved to being a pastry chef. I think I've always baked. I don't remember not baking. I must have been around 10 when I started baking with my mother. And it's something that I really fell in love with. So the transition from it being a hobby to being a profession did not feel as monumental for me because it was something that I was doing on a daily basis for as long as I can remember. And the fact that a platform such as YouTube or Instagram or any social media would just help me make my passion a profession was something I feel very privileged to have been in that position. And yeah, I think that's it. I also am a pastry educator. So the platform not only gave me a career as a creator, but it also gave me an audience that I can teach how to bake, because I believe everyone likes to experiment in the kitchen, or even if they don't, everyone goes through a phase, especially during the lockdown when everyone was baking or just experimenting in the kitchen. So social media gave me the access to a lot of people who were interested in learning to do what I can teach them. And it was just a very fulfilling few years where I taught a lot of people to bake.
Fantastic. Let's move to Visha. Tell us
Hello.
about your journey.
So, just like Bahaar and Arushi, I also sort of had a career pivot. I'm also a chartered accountant, and I trained for that originally. But then I was, again, like Bahaar said, I'm also a very accidental content creator, because this is not something I had planned, and how could we? We did not know this could ever be a career as well.
Yeah, this profession did not exist.
Right? We never knew about that. Our parents never told about us, that to us.
I think our parents
So-
were most skeptical because they come from a
Exactly.
place of protection.
Exactly.
And yes,
Right.
please tell.
So I remember I was on a trip to Chikmagalur, which is in south of India, and I was just documenting on my stories for the 300 friends who were following me that, okay, this is how coffee is made from a plant to a bean. I was just documenting the entire process, and one of my very old friends replied saying, oh, your travel stories are so interesting, why don't you think about starting a blog? And the next 1 week, I researched in and out about what travel blogging is. How can you just make money from traveling? It was such a foreign concept to me. I had not really traveled so much in my life. So, like you said, you had a passion for baking. You don't remember not baking. Or artist, for example,
Passion
just, right? For me, content creation was a crash course into self-discovery, because I did not know what I was really passionate about. The only thing I knew was that I loved telling and hearing stories. So when travel happened, I thought, wow, this is giving me a chance to tell stories, hear stories, and that sort of became my passion for some time. And I love that about content creation, that it gives everyone a voice. Everyone here has a very unique story to tell. And I was just happy that this is giving me audience and a platform and a way to wear multiple hats, to edit those stories, to narrate those stories and all of that. So yeah, and in fact, another example when I realized the power of stories was, so when I became a CA, in my first attempt, I saw failure. And that was very new to me, that, oh my God, how do I face this situation? And I remember making a long caption post out of that CA failure that, it's okay, it's not the end of the world, telling other CA students also once I did become a CA. And that's when a lot of people replied to it, and a lot of people felt seen. And just from sharing that failure story, I realized the power of storytelling, of how it can impact people, but also purchase decisions today.
Right. I think accidentally we have created communities that trust us, that resonate with us, and they start responding to us. Response is what we see the growth in. I don't think any of us started our journey because of vanity or for the need of visibility. I'm sure most of content creators who have maintained to stay sustainable and stable in this profession, and who, even if they entered the profession by accident, they've done it not because they wanted to just influence and promote, but because they were sharing a part of themselves authentically, and that's what got everybody connected to us. So while I'm sure none of us, maybe some of us do, but some of us do not have a following that runs into millions, because we are not TikTokers necessarily. Some of us do not follow the trends, but stick to one niche. And I genuinely feel, in the sea of information and content out there, the only voices that will still stay strong are the ones who are authentic and have a spirit animal of an amoeba who's willing to learn, because this journey keeps changing from year to year, and I think we are learners for life if we are in this profession, right?
Another very, as you said, why we keep doing what we're doing and how we're able to be very authentic is that the impact that we're making is so tangible. If for any other profession, it takes you months or years to see that impact, but it's so spontaneous in content creation.
Immediate.
If I give my example, if I share a recipe and within, say, a week, 10 people or 15 people come back to me with pictures of what they made, and the fact that they're able to make that recipe successfully is just so fulfilling, and it just gives you encouragement to keep doing what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be such an encouragement to people who are thinking of toying with the whole influencer journey. The idea is to understand that even 15, 20 people responding and actually recreating something where you genuinely got influenced by someone online is the goal, not the monopoly numbers. Don't get intimidated by lesser numbers. In fact, we have that tool where you just hide your likes and insights. Please do that, because I do that for my mental sanity. I still do what I want to do. I post, I exit. I do not need the validation, but if it does come in different ways, I'm just grateful, and it gives me the motivation, and I'm sure for you guys also, to carry on with the journey. Okay, so now we are in an era where content is abundant, the perspective is rare. The future of content creation is clearly moving towards deeper storytelling and distinctive personal voices. So now that I have very diverse voices here, I would like each one of you to shed light on what kind of content models succeed and are likely to succeed, because a lot of our young creators want to know what should they continuously keep doing so that they stay relevant. Let's start with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if somebody is to start content creation today, I deeply believe in the power of storytelling. But before that, I think when you are just starting to put your story out there, it is important to maybe be known for a certain thing, which we call niche. So just in the beginning, like, okay, you're going to a Bukhara for a dal makhni, or you're going to McDonald's for a specific thing in your mind. You know what you're going to things for. Similarly, it's good to think that, okay, people are coming to you for what? For solo travel inspiration, or for food recipes, or baking, or art, or what are they exactly coming to you for? And I do understand that everybody can be multi-passionate, but it's good to start with one of your passions so that you're known for something. And then eventually, when you have some community, that is the time when you delve into deep, not like exactly personal, but storytelling. In the sense that I'm sure the fact that you're so passionate about baking, I'm sure it comes from somewhere, from a story that you have, right? As an audience, I would love to know that story. So that I can exactly feel that passion, and I know that, okay, how she thinks about baking is how I think about traveling. So I think people connect with stories. So yeah, having a niche in the beginning, and then when you have some sort of distribution, get into the stories, get into why you chose to do what you're doing.
I agree.
That
I
works.
tend to, personally, I must say, at the cost of running high and dry on my social media, I abstain from posting a lot of personal content, because I also want to have like some personal space. Also, when I see too many partying scenes happening, I kind of get deflected from what the real reason for someone to have a social media, profile is. So I do know a lot of content creators who keep posting about Shadi every second post, but I get deflected. And I personally, it's my personal choice. But yes, I would also advise you not to get derailed or derail your audience from the main message and the very reason why you got into the space. For instance, for me, while I'm an artist, it is a very natural progression for me to understand and enjoy everything that is creative. So fashion comes to me very seamlessly. Now, when there was a bit of a lacuna, I got into designing furniture and lights. And of course, that's, again, another, next milestone in my ongoing journey. So now we have come to spaces. So it is something that people can understand, even though when I post my art, the algorithms do not perform. But that doesn't dissuade me from sharing what I actually was born to do, or share the very reason why my page got created, which still hasn't changed. It's still Bahaar art, because everything that I do comes from my soul. And along with the journey, right in the beginning, you may start doing things out of duty and fear of missing out, duty to be so consistent. It's okay to take breaks. The moment I started creating and sharing out of self-love, I think I became more focused, And yes, people know exactly what they will find when they land on my page and what I bring to the table. I do not feel the need to report everything now, and that is also great because some things will be found only in my stories, so you better keep up. And not everything, because also lack of time. I also am a young toddler's parent who I absolutely adore. I want to spend all my time with him if possible. I do not get the time to articulate everything into a post for people to share because, again, I do not want to trade my everyday life on social media. Arushi, what do you think is a sustainable model?
I think the model keeps on shifting year to year. I remember when I started, the model that worked best was having really aesthetic, slow-mo recipe videos with just the hand showing, the tasty and the taste-made days. So you would have a very clean white marble top and then really aesthetic shots of chocolate pouring with just some light music in the background. So that worked for the longest time. But in
It's like
today's
therapy.
yeah, but in today's time, unfortunately, that does not work. Even though it's very satisfying to watch, people, I believe, have perfection fatigue now because they don't want to see anything that is perfect. They'd rather see something that's relatable. So a person making the same recipe in a very normal kitchen setup like we have at home with a few imperfections is what would work better for the algorithm because that is what people want to see and want to relate to. So it's not perfection, it is rather relatability that is performing better
So
now.
basically, the audience that is watching us is very
Yeah.
discerning.
Yes.
They are seeing when things are forced
Yes.
as opposed to what genuinely aligns with your personality.
Yeah.
And absolutely nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
And in fact, the new age definition of perfection is owning your imperfections.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so we can't talk about content creation in isolation anymore. We are in the day and age of AI. So before I give my thoughts, I would want to know from you, Arushi, what do you think is going to be the impact of AI? We're already in that space in the future.
If I talk about food content, if the value that you're adding to your audience is just providing a recipe, you will be replaced by AI. So you need to bring something else to the table which will make you stay, which, again, as you said, storytelling is a very important aspect of whatever you do. People are not following you for the recipe that you share because that is available anywhere and everywhere now. It is your take on the recipe or your feeling about the recipe or how you can make the audience want to recreate it is what will help you sustain.
Okay. And what about you, Visha? What do you think? How is AI going to transform our space?
I think AI is a great enabler for creators in the sense that it's going to help you produce more, edit more. So in the technical aspects, AI is going to be supremely helpful to creators, which also means that a lot of people, like, we'll be in an era where there'll be more content than ever. But at the same time, that's when the need for relatability, authenticity, and lived experience will come. For example, AI can give you a travel itinerary, but AI can't share a feeling of missing a bus in a foreign country when you're on a solo trip, or the joy of introducing an Indian cuisine to your Italian friends. Those are kind of things. I mean, I recently did that on my travels. So those are the kind of things that only a lived experience person who has actually done that will share. So I think with AI, while it is going to help with the technicalities, but in terms of storytelling and lived experiences, the need for real human connection is only going to rise.
I couldn't agree more. I genuinely feel AI is not going to be a replacement for our creativity, but it's going to supplement it in terms of editing, distribution, and producing content. It's going to be a big enabler, a very helpful tool, but it cannot replace the soul of a human.
Yeah.
Tools like elements like imagination, intuition, and just thought process. And we all are a sum of our experiences, right? And we are just hoping to infuse that. And if without us, the prompts don't work. Otherwise, everyone will be creating automatic content, and we will just reduce to mere clones of each other. And that is not something that will. Again, the audience is discerning. They will not want to consume anything that is so generic unless we dig our souls and put it out there authentically. So yes, do you think there are any worries that we should have with AI? Because it is a little monster that we have created and we do not know how to control it.
I mean, things like cloning.
For our industry.
Yeah, for our industry, it could be a little bit concerning, or like maybe we need to be aware of how exactly to use AI, what platforms to use, and just a little awareness about
But
that.
I still think the good outweighs the bad because if you take the example of translation in languages, especially with, say, Meta Translate, the fact that you're able to reach audiences in different countries, in different regions of India, and it just very seamlessly translates your voice to other languages that you don't know of, I think that's just great with tapping into different regions.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think 20 minutes is too short a time to, carry on. But ultimately, I just want to say where the future of this industry lies is in creators who are not just creating content for visibility and just for the sake of being consistent, posting every day, but it's all about genuinely sharing a piece of you with the audience and creating trust and communities that you can help. Thank you so much.